All right, welcome into the Can We Kicks podcast. I'm your co-host Michael. I'm with Chuck here.
What's up, Mike?
What's going
How
on,
you
Top
doing?
Knot?
How you doing, Blood? It's more like a feather duster on top tonight.
Yeah, man, doing good. Just finished Fargo myself for the latest episode this week. So good, so good.
Straight up baller episode.
Bangers.
What a great season.
Yeah, I think this is definitely, they've rebounded from last season for sure. Last season wasn't a terrible disappointment, but this is definitely back on track for Fargo.
Yeah, I want to go back and watch season 4 maybe like in 3 months because
Yeah,
it probably gets a worse rap than it should, but because I forgot all about the Nurse Ratchet stuff.
yeah.
You know,
Oh, dude, yeah.
so
And she watches Jason Schwartzman die, like at
yeah,
the end of it. Marcus and I were just talking about this the other day, and I was like, wow, maybe I gave that season like
yeah.
too much trash. Yeah.
Well, and it's funny, Jason Schwartzman was in Righteous Gemstones season 3.
Yeah.
He gets killed.
Yeah.
But he's a good dead guy.
Yeah, he's pretty typecasted for dying at the end of something. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, just been getting caught up on TV now that work is getting back in full swing. Fargo, we've been watching. Famke Janssen, For All Mankind, is getting deliriously closer to the end, suspending some belief. And I just finished The Crown the other day, the
Yeah.
final season. It was really good, man. I'm not gonna lie, it had me in some tears there in the last 3 episodes. It was brutal.
Yeah, it's on my list to watch. When, next week we're going to do our best of 2023. So as I was doing my list, I think I wrote down 40 shows, which actually was less than last year.
Yeah.
But I had a list of about 20 shows that I want to watch. So
Yeah.
I'll try to go back to some of them when we have some lulls or have some extra time. And Crown is at the top of that list there. So
Yeah, it's a good one.
yeah.
I don't know if we're gonna get a lull anytime soon with the shows we got coming soon.
Yeah.
I mean, True Detective Night Country is in like 3 days.
Yeah, and then Fargo Tokyo Vice February 8th. So it's all coming to a head here.
Yeah, we're gonna have a nice like season to season roll. It should be pretty good. So,
Well, I think
we can throw
now that all
an
the
oldie in
strikes
there.
the strikes and stuff are all resolved and everything's been back to filming, releasing stuff about the White Lotus and the cast for season 3, location, which we know, and then they're gonna start filming soon, I think, or sometime in the spring. So
Yep.
I don't know if we'll see it this year or 2025, but
Yeah, probably not.
it's in motion. Probably around January, February next year. So
Yeah, I
but
would bet.
yeah, so I mean, a lot of good stuff coming up. So, but today I think we're going to talk mainly Fargo and For All Mankind.
Yeah.
After we talk about Hunter Biden today showing up at Congress and we're strictly politics now.
Yeah, we're switching formats, people. Strictly talk radio.
Talk radio, extreme right, extreme left. It doesn't matter. Both extremes.
It's the podcast version of Hannity and Combs. We're going all in.
Yeah. What happened to Combs?
No idea.
The Hannity murdered him.
He ate him.
He absorbed him. He was like the twin.
Yeah.
Absorbed him in the womb.
It made him just go further right.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Man.
You want to talk For All Mankind first?
Yeah, let's talk For All Mankind. So before we talk kind of specific about this episode.
Yeah.
Is this season bad?
It's so tough. It started off good, and now I'm like, what the hell are we doing?
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to keep watching. I'm not going to stop, and I'll watch next season. But at this point, it's more for amusement than anything else. I mean, there's some good stuff that happens in this episode, but compared to like the first 3 seasons, it seems to have been. It just kind of. I don't know. Maybe it's Miles' character is just not. It's kind of dull, and they're spending a lot of time with him, but I
Is
don't
it,
know.
or is it that the show's just not as exploratory as like when it started? Like, oh, they're
Yeah.
trying to get to the moon, and then the Russians beat us. Now it's trying to get to Mars. Now there's no firsts, right? Unless like Miles
Uh,
becomes the first guy like fucking crucified on Mars, which we talked about. But
well, they're. I mean, they're trying to bring a fucking asteroid back to Earth so they could mine it. I mean, I
true.
guess that's how. So with that plan, either plan, they're just going to pull it in the atmosphere and then let it. It's just going to rotate around the Earth or Mars, and then they're going to mine it. I
Yeah,
guess.
they're gonna leave it in like low like Mars or Earth orbit and just
Yeah, yeah.
slowly like chew away at it. But I mean, just just drop it on the planet. I mean, what's the worst that can happen?
Should we see if Neil deGrasse Tyson will come on?
Oh, we should.
I'll reach out to those people.
That'll be funny. I saw him a few years ago too, here in Houston. It was a pretty good. I don't know what it's not a concert. I guess it'd be a lecture. I don't know what you would call that.
And talk.
Stand up comedy. I don't know.
Yeah. He's like, space and space. You're like,
Yeah, right. Yeah.
we know this isn't real, Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Black holes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Ah, man, that's a great question about whether or not it's a good season. I don't. It's gonna. I don't know if I'm gonna rewatch it, but just it's different. I don't know.
yeah.
Unless
I
this
mean,
season ends with like a crazy bang, like bombing JSC, like they just dropped
well,
the asteroid on Earth.
I think that's what made last season so great was because of what happened in the finale where like I, every season had these big moments, like I mean the first season had a lot of big moments. Second season too, I can't remember if Gordo and Tracy died and which season, but I guess yeah, it's just
Into the second one. Yeah.
it's now when you get I guess because too our minds in the present day were thinking about Mars and we're on Mars and we have the space colony and Kelly's finding water or gas or whatever. And then I mean the big
No,
talk is
she
like
finds the
pulling
Korean guy's wife. Like that's I thought we agreed that she's just gonna
yeah
be like
like what's it a Hansa or whatever that was frozen in
she's
carbonite like
carbonite.
Jabba the you find Jabba the Hutt. It's like all interconnected now with Star Wars.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't. We got
Yeah, I
what?
mean
One
this
more episode?
yeah, next
Yeah.
on Friday is the finale. So
And it's called some I meant to look up what the name of it meant, but it's called something
it's
that I know is gonna
Deus Ex Machina. No.
yeah.
uh
Let's see, where is it? Where the for all mankind. Second of all, we haven't seen a single guy on an asteroid with a pickaxe once.
yeah.
The
You
the
wouldn't
the, the teaser image is really pissing me off.
well that before they drag this fucker all the way back to Earth, they would have guys out there like samples just to make sure it contains everything that they unless they've gotten samples already and sent it back to Earth, but I don't know. It just
Yeah,
seems
they're just going off all of this just on like an assumption that it is full of this like mineral. There's no
yeah.
sampling that we know of that has been done.
No,
Yet,
not that
so
I've seen.
the next episode is called Perestroika, which was the Soviet Union policy or practice of restructuring or reforming the economic and political system. So, keeping with Dab's idea of
Oh,
bringing the asteroid to Mars, this is sort of Perestroika in the solar system. So,
yeah. Perestroika, perestroika, rendezvous. That's Farajaka.
yeah. But
Tensions on Earth and Mars come to a head.
yeah, I got to imagine a lot of people are getting just killed off.
Yeah. So who do you think dies?
Oh,
We had
Ed for sure.
because he's starting to have all these like sad like he has all those pictures and he didn't have pictures of him and Kelly, but he had pictures of
Yeah, of his
him
dead kid.
and
Right, R.I.P. Yeah,
Danny, not Danny, but yeah, his dead kid, and then Karen. Uh,
wasn't his son's name Kelly? They just named their
no,
adopted daughter Kelly. I'm just kidding.
that'd be
Sorry,
funny though.
that'd be great.
But he's feeling like all like I shouldn't have left you like in the my grandson and
Yeah, he's
but
starting to have regrets. Yeah,
well now but I think they're all on Mars together, so he doesn't want to leave Mars because they're all together. And then like he does, I don't think he wants to go back to Earth, but yeah. So I don't know. It'd be interesting to see. They've got to kill Miles, right? Like, and Miles, what's Miles's purpose going into next season? Like, is he going to be continue to become a main character? Like, is he going to smuggle some more stuff?
he
Like,
becomes Jabba the Hutt. He's a smuggler. He
he
becomes Han Solo.
he takes fucking Danny's place, Daniel Poole's place as a leader of Mars. Like, like what is or astro to Mars and like he's the only one that knows how to like drill because of his oil rig experience, and so we like I just can't picture him.
Yeah.
You know,
Does he become the godfather of Happy Valley? He's just like smuggling like heroin through olive oil. Like I don't know what his purpose is. Like
his wife's like, no, stay up there, keep sending rocks. Like I'm
yeah,
enjoying my house.
yeah. Yeah. They got a deal. They got a deal for sure.
Next season is they go back to Earth and he's on trial for like space crimes, and then they hire the lawyer gets him off because like it's out of jurisdiction because it took place on Mars.
It was before the Mars Constitution was
Yeah.
was written. Yeah,
Um,
I don't know how you but like it gets they separate it. Danielle becomes president of fucking Mars. He becomes head of commerce. I have no idea. I don't.
or is North Korea go ham? Like in this last episode, we don't want to get too much into the recap of it because we
Yeah, yeah.
kind of just talked about what we think about next. But um, the North Koreans are, they figured out that the Americans are spying on them, which was really Danny. It was
It
really Miles.
was Ed and
Um,
Miles.
so and it leads to Miles getting interrogated by CIA and KGB assets
It's getting
on.
waterboarded on Mars.
Yeah, it was great.
That's a first.
His dumb ass is like, I just smuggle underwear. Like
What's wrong with a little foot cream and a little underwear? I'm
yeah,
sending money back home.
yeah. I don't know anything. Why y'all talking to me? He's like fucking punch that smirk right off his face.
Right? Yeah. I can't
So
wait to the next episode when he shows up with like no teeth. It's gonna be hilarious.
yeah, yeah. What happened to you? I fell down the stairs.
Yeah.
Uh, but
Oh man.
the other main major thing from this episode is, um, they pull off. Sam is the right her name.
Yeah.
They pull off switching the um what's it called, the
Discriminator, for lack of a
discriminator box.
better genius writing
Yeah, yeah,
noun.
the Flarfignugan
Yeah.
mechanism, but yeah, the discriminator box.
Just call it the computer box. Like
Yeah.
discriminator is such a hor just so she has to switch out the
Oh,
computer box. That's what it should have been in the
yeah.
script. Fucking
Where she
A.
squirts a piece, like a little drop of water, and
Eye
causes short
drops.
circuit. I know. Yeah, I know where. I'll get another one. Okay. But like, uh, what's it, Tommy Boy or whatever? Like, you're some valve in the denominators. Like, I don't know what I'm talking about. It's just stupid ass names.
Checking
But
the specs on the rotary
yeah,
girder.
yes,
Yeah.
checking the specs in the rotary
Which
girder.
I love how the discriminator is like locked up like
Yeah.
on like the resupply shuttle, but it's just
Hmm.
like in a box on Ranger. And they know that she's a problem. And it's like the one thing that could blow this
Yeah.
whole thing up is just in
Yeah.
like a box with no lock. Come
Where they
on.
shouldn't trust her because they didn't want her on the ship.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, what's his name? But Duffy. I'm gonna call him Duffy. He's basically the dog of slow horses from all mankind. Didn't want her on this trip, but no, Dev talked him into keeping her. So
yeah. And then
yeah.
he's like, all right, why don't you go get, not like, I'm gonna send fucking Jojo Baggins to go get it, or some other person. But yeah, so now they got access and they're gonna override.
You couldn't send up the CIA or the KGB guy up there to keep watch on Ranger. Come on.
Yeah. Well, who's gonna waterboard Miles then?
True.
But yeah, so interesting to see how next week will play out because
Yeah. It's the last
um
episode.
shit ain't going right on
No.
Mars.
No.
And then it ain't going right on Earth. And the other main thing is Sergey got 187 by an unknown assailant.
Yeah, he got
Um,
86th. Yeah. Big
what
time.
what should be his wife from Iowa?
Oh
Who is
man,
that?
yes. No, no, it's Billy Bob Thornton from Fargo season one.
or Ula from the season. He's like, oh, you're tight, tiger.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Sergey's about to chomp into a nice, delicious, disgusting Big Mac, and he just what person kills himself before a Big Mac? I don't know who's going to believe that. Just saying.
yeah. Tell me what you did after you saw the episode.
Oh, I went to McDonald's and I didn't buy a Big Mac, but I bought a quarter pounder with mac sauce. So
Yeah, I mean, only serial killers by Big Macs. You got to
yeah,
go with the
for
quarter
real.
pounder.
Yeah,
But
yeah, he got
yeah, any
86th.
other? Yeah, so Sergey gets killed, and I think it's they want us to assume it's someone working for Svetlana or whatever,
KGB. Yeah,
the KGB, the new people in charge of Roscosmos and the Soviet
yeah,
government.
yeah.
So, but yeah, it's interesting that Margot now is getting along with Alita. And Sergey was in the picture, and they were going to work together, and then they were going to take their talents to South Beach, Brazil. Um, not
South
no
Beach,
mo.
Brazil.
uh,
That
Sergey went on
Sergey and
live
Margot could
TV.
both wear thongs on the beach, and it'd be perfect. Yeah.
Sergey had a on TV, talking about he was taking his talents to South Beach with Margot, and it just didn't work out.
We could make the Brazilian space program like it was at Apollo. Shut up.
I texted Mike. I'm like, I texted Mike while I was watching. I was like, I don't see Brazil as a big player in the space industry.
I don't remember them being a part of the M7. I don't.
Yeah, it's I don't know why are they skirting around China in this whole show. It's like, or isn't this show like? I guess because now maybe it's like with alternative history, China's not even really is like a poor country and not a big player in the world because they don't mention them at all.
that could be a good point with the rise of the Soviet Union, right? As in the
Hmm.
show as they are versus now, right? The Soviet, Russia and China like to play, the world against the two of them, and I
Yeah,
don't think the Soviet Union needs them, right? In this alternative
yeah,
history,
yeah,
so I think you're right. I think they are a pretty, a non-developed
yeah,
nation, for not as developed. I would
yeah,
bet. Never adopted the capitalistic ways and just have never expanded their economy. So I would bet you're right. That's a good point. They don't mention them.
yeah.
Um, They do mention North Korea, which we see, which is hilarious that they have their own module. Um,
Yeah.
which yeah, the guy thinks that the Americans are spying on them, and then he gets 86th by Lee, which was funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
because he
What's
found their ops com, which apparently was so hard to tell that Billy Baton Rouge was sneaking out the elevator shaft.
Yeah, like, why is no one else noticing this, like, on the base? Like,
There's no
uh,
cameras in the elevator. Are you serious?
or yeah, like, there was no the North Koreans didn't have access to those 2 elevators or whatever, right?
Yeah,
On there. But I'm assuming that there's some type of security on base seeing fucking Billy Baton Rouge go down this elevator multiple times a day and equipment, and then, like, there's you can't tell me there's just some underground room that they've got plastic tarp over where they're doing this fucking, skunk works from,
yeah,
and nobody stumbled upon it.
yeah.
It takes the North Korean guy to stumble upon it. And why is Lee choking him out? Why wouldn't Lee, like, fucking pull a gun on him with the rest of the North Koreans? Like, does Lee did Lee know about this op?
Yeah, he
I think
did
he they
because
told him, right? Because
yeah,
there's Billy Baton Rouge is still saying, "Oh, we're gonna try to get her up here," and like,
yeah, he needed
there's
Lee to do the camera spying from Opscom Skunkworks, and I think Lee is realizing like I think he's kind of like defecting to some degree
yeah,
because he wants his wife up there ultimately.
yeah.
So he's choosing like love over the fatherland. Yeah,
Well, and he's putting his baskets in Billy Baton Rouge's hands, and
true.
that dude couldn't fucking tie a shoe.
And see, this is what I'd like to know: is who's leading North Korea? Is it Kim Jong Un? Is it still non poop master king over there? Like,
Yeah, it didn't say, right? Because maybe they some kind of coup, but they haven't. They're kind of shying away from that probably for
yeah,
certain political purposes. But
yeah, they're still
I,
doing the Hermit Kingdom thing. They're just not talking about who's in charge. That's an
yeah,
interesting point. It just crossed my mind, but um, yeah, Lee's doing all of that, and then yeah, Sergey gets off, and they make it look like a suicide. But I don't know how believable that's gonna be.
yeah,
Yeah. Any other thoughts before we get to Perestroika on
mm,
this Friday? Ooh,
yeah. No, just interested to see. I think someone's dying. It's got to
yeah,
be Ed,
it's
unless
gotta
he just
be.
passes away in the next in between season 10-year jump. Because there's unless he lives longer on Mars, I don't know. Um, but I don't know how he'll die because he's not like on the Ranger or not. Um, maybe he jumps in to try to protect Billy Baton Rouge. Um, I don't know.
I was hoping he was gonna go out in a blaze of glory on the asteroid, smoking a
Fucking
joint, and just fucking ready to go.
Armageddon style.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Armageddon style, Terminator 2, the guy Miles David with the detonator and the fucking police are coming in and he fucking drops it and they all fucking die. I was waiting for that.
so here's my theory for next
Respawn?
season.
No.
I think we're gonna end, and I'm gonna probably be way off, but I'm taking a shot here. Dev and all them programmed the box wrong or whatever, and so as they're slinging back, something's gonna go haywire, and it's gonna send the asteroid and the ship like hurtling, but like towards Earth, and then that's gonna be the. I mean, maybe it's like 3 months away to get there, but it's going to be a cliffhanger where it's coming towards Earth, and where's the asteroid going to hit? It'd be a different direction for the show, but I mean, the other is Dev pulls this off, and the asteroid is revolving around Earth, and like Gorbachev and them like start a war in Russia, and they you know try to take back, or hit some other government tries to take back over Russia, um, and then
Brazil
Ed
takes over the
and
world.
Ed and Dev like they commandeer the um, Mars for the new country of Helios land.
It's called Mars Helios. That's pretty good.
So I don't know. What do you think?
I think you're onto something. I think something will go wrong with the asteroid. There's been talks about terraforming Mars and how do we do that? And the most like everybody's telling like uh Elon Musk to like nuke the North Pole of Mars to melt the ice caps, which would cause water into the atmosphere, which would then lead to terraforming long term. So what if something does go wrong, but Dev intentionally, like he's the only one that seems to know how to program like this
Yeah.
shit. So what if he programs the comet to crash into Mars into like because Kelly's doing all of this research about water and life and all of this stuff. What if he's using that data to further his theory of crashing the meteor into Mars, like a thermonuclear explosion, which
Hmm.
causes the next season to begin like terraforming like 20 years later? I'm just saying, like that just crossed my mind earlier. Um, I think next season's going to be the last season. I have a feeling.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
generally, I wouldn't go farther than 5 seasons.
I just don't know what it's like. What they're gonna have like flying cars now that they have this asteroid with all this like tritium or whatever it is. Like it's gonna like explode technological advance. What are they gonna create a Dyson sphere? I don't know if you know what that is, but look it up if you don't. Or like a Halo, like the game Halo ring.
Yeah.
what are the um like the next season is probably gonna be they're all living in space colonies and stuff. But I do have one theory
Yeah.
that this season is gonna end that Margot told Roscosmo bitch that Sergey was in town and Margot had a hand in having Sergey offed.
Mm.
I'm calling it.
So, was she like a Russian agent all along?
No, but
Was she?
she's Columbus. She burns those boats as Andy Bernard would say, burn those boats. I'm not going back. That's my old life. I'm in it to win it now. Ultimate allegiance to what's her name? I can't Ilyana, whatever her name is.
Yeah.
And now she has an official seat at the table.
Yeah. I mean, there was an explorer who discovered who landed in Hawaii when all the Hawaiians were there, and he basically burned the boat so they couldn't be tempted to leave.
Exactly.
So, and that makes perfect sense. Brazil happened. Sergey comes up, and guess what she does? She burns the boats. There's no way to leave.
She knows that based on how this is going to go with what they think is going to do with the asteroid, the Margot is obsessed with power, right? We kind of know that
Hmm.
she's very aggressive. She goes after what she wants. She likes power, as we know. She liked being the head of NASA. Now, with the asteroid supposedly coming to Earth, she knows that the Soviet Union is in a great position to be powerful. She's going to ride the shit out of that horse. I don't know. I think Margot's turned to the dark side. Dark side.
I,
She's just become pragmatic,
I got
ruthlessly
an
pragmatic.
I got an alternate, two other alternate theories of that. Elita's son is a Russian asset, and he reported. But actually, what makes more sense is either Alita or her husband is who like ratted it out because of how Margot hurt her, and so that's like their retribution
That could be.
to hurt
Bill
Margot.
Strauzer's not been paralyzed. He's just been faking it all this time. He waited for Sergey to
Yeah.
show up, and now he's coming after Margot.
He was the hitman in there. that an alternate like deleted scene was just like a wheelchair that's outside, like
Oh,
uh,
dude, that would be a greatest plot twist of all time. I'd love it.
pulls off the mask. And it's like piss pants Bill.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah.
Who can't use their
FamK.
legs now, bitch?
Yeah.
All right, we got to move on for all
Yeah.
mankind, or we're gonna have to dedicate just this entire
Yeah.
one to the show.
Yeah. Penultimate. Don't know where it's going. Hilarious ideas. Um, that leads us into Fargo. And is this I I gave a hot take. I said this was the best season of Fargo yet. Neither you or Marcus agreed with me. I just want to hear your take on it. I think it is. What's your take?
I think through the first 9 episodes, it's right up there with season 2, which is my favorite and I think the best. Um, we'll see how they finish it, but it's it's close. It could end up being the best season.
It's up there.
It it's whatever it is, really comeback season, which I'm kind of hoping the same for True Detective Night Country because after it's gone downhill after the first one, but maybe that's because the first one is so fucking epic that no matter what they do after that, it's not going to be as good.
Yep.
But what I think is different and what's brilliant about all the Fargo seasons is that it's in this like it's in this Coen Brothers universe, and it's weird, it's good, and it all takes place in the same kind of 3 states or 3 general cities, like around Fargo, Minneapolis, and Kansas City.
Yep.
I mean, this season's been Fargo and Minneapolis, and then what Sarna or whatever um, the police lady was from
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
outside of Minneapolis. It's just like a suburb of Minneapolis, but
Yeah, yeah.
it's all what it does brilliantly is it uses like this season. What's done really well is uses current. It takes place in the current day or within the May. I would say maybe like 2016 through 2020
Yeah,
because
I
I
think at
love
the start of it says 2019, so it's like
yeah.
pre-COVID. Yeah.
So I love today where um, Wayne's mom, Jennifer Jason Lee, says, "Give me that dumb orange bastard on the phone." Like, like she's calling Trump, like
Yeah.
to get favors, right? So it's such an intriguing. I think what makes this season really good and relevant is it's such an intriguing look into kind of I don't know if I say politics, but influence everybody
Power.
in their spheres of influence and power, and kind of like and Roy references this episode like militias, landowners like Amon Bundy, I think he mentions, and another one, Ruby Ridge, and there was another the other guy I forget. Um, so, but it's funny that he's broadcasting live and like patriots come defend like our
Yeah.
way of life, and it's something that easily fucking happens and has happened in the United States. Like,
Yeah. Waco and the Branch Davidians and this like divine right stuff and how they don't recognize the federal government's laws
yeah,
and stuff. And I love how John Hamm, when he realizes like that the cavalry's on the way, he's
yeah,
like, this is like, we need to dig in, call the Patriots.
yeah,
This is our Masada. I had to look up
yeah,
Masada. That was a fortress on a mountain where Jews fought against the Roman Empire. And I was
yeah,
like, this guy is like radicalized, thinking he's like
Yeah.
next fucking Messiah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
yeah, and that's what happens with power, right? Because I'm sure, you know, start to believe your own petard. You're getting hoisted by your own petard in the end because you start to believe that you're the Messiah or you're the chosen, versus like true valid things like government interfering with, your property or, you know, how you can't ever really own anything because you're
right.
paying the government. You're basically, you own it, but you pay taxes, you pay this, you pay that. You're leasing it from another entity, but then tying it in with like religion, where, if you read, you know, the Bible, basically it says to keep religion, I think there's something where they talk about taxes and they're like, that's between you and the tax man. I'm, different. So like, but these people get all this power and it's like who can outpower
Yeah.
the other, and it leads to standoff, and it leads to um, this. And I think it's such an interesting. I think that's what makes this season really great. Besides, you know, top freaking class acting from John Hamm, Juno Temple, the guy that plays Ula,
Yeah.
the Sin Eater, even Joe Carey. Like he played as Gator, kind of a dumb shit, but the way he plays him is
It's
great.
great. Yeah.
Jennifer Jason Lee is the the debt queen or whatever he called her
Yeah, he
today.
calls it a tech queen. There's definitely some
Danish.
Emmys that are coming out of this season. I mean, not we're just hitting the Golden Globes for last year because of the writer's strike
Yeah,
and
I
all that.
watched I watched the Golden Globes a little bit the other night. We didn't
So
really talk about it, but
next
um,
award season, I mean, this is going to be right up there. I mean, it's amazing.
yeah, yeah, and I mean, just in this episode where Danish's eye patch is hanging on like the
Oh,
nail in the well was
yeah.
like it
It's
just
got a little blood on it. Yeah, that was so good.
the fog in this episode
Yes.
during the standoff. Um, I mean, we're now it's a penultimate episode, and the whole basically episode builds up to a standoff between the FBI and John Hamm as Dot or Nadine basically tunnels her way out, and then just like little Tom and Jerry like going through the house and finding all these nooks and crannies and secret passageways, and you know, um, eh,
Home Aloneing her way out of there by turning on
yeah,
the gas on the stove and like all these little things that John Hamm is like, what are you guys idiots? Like, come on. Like, but I
yeah,
love he like understands how she thinks. Like there are a
yeah,
lot more in common than they probably want to admit because they hate each other, but they
yeah,
ultimately probably love each other more than they like want to admit
yeah,
because they are so alike. He like thinks the way she does in that she's gonna go somewhere to like wait it out for them all to get
yeah,
slaughtered. And he's like, I love he mentions like two locations: the grave, which is where they threw Danish's body, and the dugout, which is like his like escape tunnel, but it's also the place where Munch did the goat sacrifice.
I I want tour of this fucking dugout, the tunnel, because
Yeah.
when he opens it, turns the light, and goes, "Keep this open right here," and like turns around, like he looked down that tunnel, and that was like hell,
Yeah.
and like the look on his face was like, if I go this way, maybe it was more if I go this way. Oh yeah, that makes more sense because he says I'll keep this open for later because
Yeah. He's like, just in case. Yeah.
if he has to run,
Yeah.
right? Because here's what I think. I think um, Dot Nadine says this like he's a weak man, and he's basically doing all this over her, and his new father-in-law, the militia man, basically, it's like you're doing this over this, and his current wife is like he hasn't changed the bedspread since you left.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like it's the
It's all
same
your pictures
design.
and curtains and
Yeah,
yeah.
and what's gonna happen when the shit hits the fan? Guess who's gonna be going down the tunnel? You know, trying to get away. once he realizes how real it is.
Yeah.
Now, I may be wrong, but um, he's got to die at the end of this, probably by the hands of Ula as he goes down to the tunnel. I think what's going to happen is he's going to run down the tunnel, and Ula's going to be there, ready to absolve him.
I think it's going to be Nadine. Um,
Oh, you think so? All right.
yeah, I think his debt to Ula was paid with the money, and Gator, of course, screwed that up. And as we
Yeah.
saw, Gator got what he got. He got his
So
hand cut off, basically.
yeah. So yeah, Gator got his eyes carved out with a hot knife for taking the eyesight out of the old woman who never did anything. And I think you're right because I think that's the last we see of Ula.
He just
Um,
vaporizes. Yeah.
he vaporized, and he settled up with the tiger. So like it's not a fair fight with the tiger there, and then you think like he's gonna kill her. Well, that's what they want, but I don't think that was gonna happen.
I was like, is he
Um,
about to fight her? Like, is this like, does he have unfinished business by taking down the Tigers? And now he like wants to fight her on even ground. I thought that was
but
going to happen at
but
first,
I
but
think like you reflect on the season with him being shown as the sin eater and all that. By basically seeing like once he realizes what the situation is, then he knows like he's not engrossed by money.
yeah,
He knows okay, the bad people are these two guys. The good person is the tiger that's on the run. So
he's got
I
these like weird hardline like ethics, like where
yeah.
he sees right and wrong in his view. It's so much like No Country for
So
Old
did,
Men.
but John Hamm has the same thing, and,
Yeah,
and Roy Tillman.
yeah.
Everybody has their. It's it's kind of like how everybody is living by their own
Law.
code or
Yeah,
morals.
yeah,
But yeah, so I think he may be done because he settled up with Gator. He settled up with Roy previously with the money,
yeah.
and he settled up with Nadine. Dot. So yeah, he's probably done. And yeah, Nadine's gonna take down Roy or something. Or
I think Roy is gonna like head for the tunnel. Like she's gonna help like pick off guys from behind the line, and his father-in-law is gonna turn on him, right? And
mm,
and he's gonna be like, I gotta get the hell out of here. And he goes to the dugout, and she's like at the end of the tunnel, like across the Canadian border, wherever it's gonna lead, right? And
yeah,
he's like running out. He's like, "Oh, I made it!" And she's gonna be like, and he's. I think that I got a feeling it's gonna be something like that. But it would be cool for Munch to show up and like help take him down. And he's like, now the tiger eats.
yeah. I just want him for the words like
Yeah.
when you let the tiger out of the cage, you have to capture. You can't kill the tiger by beating it. It just enrages the tiger.
Yeah.
And then like I don't know, like I don't. I hope he comes back, but I think that's probably the last we saw of him. Because we're gonna see more of this. We're gonna see more Roy Tillman. Um, it was funny in this episode to see the FBI agents like be all
Oh,
confident and cocky.
yeah.
They're gonna be the first ones that get shot.
Oh,
Uh,
probably. Yeah. They're gonna be like the two FBI agents on Die Hard. They're gonna die in the helicopter.
yeah, so it'll be interesting to see, what how we go. What do you think? So season finale next week. How do you see it going? We're gonna have the standoff. We're obviously. Do you think now? When Ula came in and killed, and there was gunshots that was loud. Do you think they heard it at the front, and now that's kicked off fighting, or
I was wondering about that because, like, as soon as he grabbed like the first dude and that rifle went off, I was like, well, and I thought it was like the FBI guys at first, right?
yeah,
The extraction team being led by Whitfar or whatever his
yeah?
name
I
is.
kept I kept expecting the Whitfar to be looking down the. Oh, Nadine, you in there?
Yeah. Um, but yeah, the rifle goes off, and I was like, well, that's gonna start a war. But
Yeah,
they didn't really go too far into that. That's what I thought at first. But I think Roy will get turned on by his father-in-law. His father-in-law is just gonna He's just going to Ruby Ridge himself. Um, they're just going to sacrifice themselves. Roy's going to take off like a chicken. Which, second of all, Roy can't kill Nadine himself.
No.
This is an ongoing thing where he has his like right hand man,
Yeah.
the guy who dies at the grave. I have never caught his name. Um, he sends him to kill her, and it's like Roy
Yeah.
has no stones. Like he
Yeah.
can't do it himself. So it's like, okay, this guy obviously is gonna die. Um, I don't know. I think she's Nadine's gonna wind up catching up to him. I wonder if Whitfar. It's Winston Bishop. He's in New Girl. It's
Yeah.
Lamorne Morrison.
Yeah.
I wonder if he like runs into Munch because like they still have that the gas station standoff still like hanging between them, kind of.
Yeah. I guess the only one. I mean, Munch was the one that shot him in the leg, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Which remarkably, his leg has healed pretty quickly. How long is this? Like, how? What is the timeline of this series?
yeah. Good
um,
question.
yeah. So I think I did like. I think Roy's gonna die that way. Munch probably will ride off into the sunset, doing whatever he's doing. Would be pretty funny if he killed Indira's husband, just out of collecting a debt. Which Indira is now working for Lorraine, the debt queen. But I did love how Lorraine said she's like talking on the phone, like right before Dot called Indira, and
Yeah.
she's like, "I'm a billionaire. What do you mean I can't just have somebody killed?"
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. You have someone. I mean, I think that's kind of how like some people who, if someone's down on their luck, like she was, and gets offered money by rich and powerful people, you can kind of forget or loosen your morals,
Yeah.
you know. And when you're in a position like the debt queen and Roy Tillman, where you're in this power and money, you can stick to your morals because you have nothing that you can trade for them. I mean, you've traded to get there, but now
Yeah.
you're there at the top and you can do what you like and the people do your bidding. So,
Is there any way John Hamm comes out of this not dead?
uh, no, I think he dies.
Yeah. I think had he not killed Danish, he might make it, but I think Lorraine is on a warpath now.
Yeah, she knows Danish is dead.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and then I mean they're making it like these, malicious standoff things, which usually ends up with you know pretty much everybody they're dead. So
I'm starting to doubt that. I'm starting to wonder if the father-in-law who sees, he's starting to see that Roy is in like he said, is this like your first days or is it your last days? I
yeah,
thought you were a conqueror, but am I wrong? I wonder if his father-in-law just like is like, all right, everybody stand down, be fucking cool. And he like goes to turn Roy over and Roy like hightails it out of there.
yeah, I can see that happening too.
Yeah.
Are you? What do you say? Are you Hitler in the bunker? Or are you Hitler in the first days?
Yeah, are you Hitler in the Reichstag or are you Hitler
Yeah.
in the bunker? Yeah. Or was it the
Well,
beer
that
garden?
it's so much. I mean, you get a lot of these that are so fascinated with Hitler
Oh my god, yeah, dude.
because of the power and the control and the ability to propaganda people,
It's so insane.
which is like Roy's campaigns. It reminded
Yeah.
me today. It was, he's a sheriff and everything. It reminded me of I was been watching Brooklyn 99, and then or as I call it, Brooklyn 911. Uh, there's a episode, I think it's in the last season, and or a couple episodes where John C. McGinley is like the head of the police union, and like he's awful and all this stuff. And then they go down, they're like, so I guess he got ousted of that, and they're like, no, he was voted head of the union for life. Like, and they're like, I didn't even know that could happen. Like,
Yeah,
but it's
yeah.
like, you know, um but it's like get these small town people with power, or
Yeah.
even people in the national spotlight with power that can just keep being reelected over and over again
Yeah.
because you rigged the election. That was what was really cool in this season when Dana sent the three guys with the change of names to Roy Tillman and to the
Love
debate
that.
stage and had them register to run against him. It's just like you're changing the rules, you're changing the playing field, and look how he handled it. Right? He couldn't
Yeah. He hit that
handle.
lady.
He punched a woman.
Yeah.
But
He's
the
like,
thing is,
where's the election official around here? And it's like crickets. And then like he goes to leave and those like he like throws the podium down and then the other guys throw the podium down. I thought that was hilarious how they just mimicked everything he did.
that was brilliant. But the thing
So
is
good.
he probably would still win by a landslide.
Imitation is a form of flattery.
Yeah, people just keep voting for the same people. But
Yeah. Yeah, great. Yeah. Roy Tillman A, Roy Tillman B, and Roy Tillman C. That wasn't their middle names because they all had different letters, but I thought that was amazing. That was a great
yeah,
political move by Danish. Yeah.
yeah. Rest in peace, Big D.
Yeah. R.I.P. Yeah. Uh so good, man. I don't know. Did you have any other thoughts on how this season is gonna end?
I'm looking forward to the finale, but I think Roy is going to be dead. I think the two FBI agents. I think, I think Dot's going to be reunited with Scotty and Wayne and the Debt Queen. Um, and I think maybe they'll kind of have, the old police officer will be like on their kind of personal detail or something of making sure they're safe and protection.
She's like the
Um,
head of like Lorraine's security now. Indira
yeah,
is.
he's
Yeah.
just like pulled idea right up to the top. It's like, holy
Yeah.
shit,
Yeah.
Ashy to classy, like real
Yeah.
quick and without, but it, I mean, money and power, man. I
Indira was
mean,
drowning in debt and her husband was a piece of shit. And
it,
she's like, I'm going to the other side.
if someone came to me today and said, I'll put you in charge of this and pay you double or triple what you make, guess what? I'm not putting in 2 weeks' notice. I'm just stop answering calls.
I'm
So,
out.
yeah. But
Yeah.
that's green is what makes the world go round.
It's power, man. Money and power.
Hmm.
That's it. Yeah.
But yeah, I think those are the main things. I think. Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, it's going to be really good. Whatever is going to happen. I mean, the last episode's titled Bisquick. I think it's a pretty big
Oh,
giveaway that Lorraine, Dot is going to make it out of this, and everything's going to be hunky dory, and Roy's either going to be dead or in prison, right? And I don't know. I think it'd be pretty funny if he got visited by Munch in prison, and like he gets his fucking tongue cut out or something like that. But I thought it
so
was
do you
also
think
cool.
Go
Okay.
ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
I thought it was interesting, like Lorraine, like when her mother-in-law when she called Indira
Yeah.
and she like took the phone and then she was like it was her daughter. Like she finally
Yeah.
she's got
Yeah.
a crack in the veneer. And I'm like, no, I like that cold-hearted bitch about her. Like
When I think that you finally realize like this, she's like me, and I'm proud to call her, you know,
a daughter.
my
Yeah.
daughter, and
Yeah.
that's why I think like the final scene of the show is going to be Dot in the kitchen at um the mom's house with Wayne and Scotty making fucking biscuit for everybody.
Yeah. 100%.
So
Indira's like guarding like the door. They got to have
yeah,
a new Danish. I'm waiting for the new Danish.
Roy says, "Oh, Danish." Uh, is it like the breakfast thing or what?
Yeah, we're looking. You're gonna show us two faces, Danish Graves and Dot Lion or Nadine, whatever. And he's like, Danish Graves. That sounds like a serious breakfast.
And then he's like Dot lying. Like I don't know. Nadine, and then Will Farr comes and says, "Oh, Nadine." And I was like,
Yeah.
Motherfucker knows everything."
Oh, and then he's like the witch hunt, and I love how the FBI
Dude,
agent turned that on him. The
Yeah,
dialogue is so good in this.
it's brilliant. I mean, it's just
Yeah,
like every Coen Brothers movie, and Noah Hawley has a genius about him doing that as
yeah,
well. So
yeah,
yeah, it's one of a kind.
yep,
There's shows that are hard to replicate, and then that's why they're so good, even season after season.
yep.
So,
Yeah,
but
man. Next week is the final episode. We haven't heard anything about a season 6, but I sure hope we get another one because they have figured out the recipe again. Let's hope True Detective goes that way with Night Country in a couple of days. But I've really enjoyed the season. I'm glad I got onto this
mhm,
show. You and Marcus really got me into it. Um, and I'm really hoping for a strong final because I really think this is the best season yet. And I say that that's pretty hard to beat because I love season 1, 2, and 3. 4, yeah,
mhm.
okay, I'll go back and rewatch, but they're all good in their own respects. But this one is for some reason just maybe it's just because I love John Hamm. I don't know, but
Yeah, he's really an amazing, like, when you think of like great actors, he usually doesn't come up, but I mean, even his performance in like Bridesmaids as like I mean, like everything I mean, obviously Mad Men was, you know, like award winning
you thought
performance
that
in
was like
that.
his peak.
Yeah,
It's like, okay, he did Mad Men, and he's just going to do cameos for the rest of his life, and then he does something
yeah,
like Fargo. Yeah,
yeah. Even the town, like
yeah,
it, he's just, he's not just like he's an actor and he's really good at what he does. And
yeah,
he's funny. If you ever listen to him on podcast, um, he comes on this comedy Bang Bang like once a year or so. But he came on to talk about Fargo before it started and right after the strikes ended and stuff and promoting it. And like he didn't know what date it was coming. Like he was just like, I don't know. I think it's on days, and it comes out like I don't know on this date. Like, and he's all he's just like he, he's just so just like buttoned up. He's just so true to himself, like
yeah,
just a true person. So yeah, all good. And Juno Temple is amazing in
yep.
this. I didn't really. I thought she's okay last season. I mean, the last season Ted Lasso was good, not as good as the previous ones, but I mean, she really has shown her acting chops
Yeah, she's
this
got
season.
range.
So
She's got range. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
but yeah,
So
anything else before we call it?
now I'm ready to watch Famke Friday and Fargo next week, and then
Yep.
Night Country too. So we got a lot. We got two shows ending, one beginning, and we need to do our best of 2023. So we
Yeah,
got a lot of tent coming at you
yeah, so, yeah. It's
pretty
gonna be a lot
soon.
of good tent. Yeah, so be checking that out on the the podcast platforms and this Instagram. We sent out a couple of polls about what you thought your favorite series was of the year and movie and actor
What
and
was everybody's
actresses.
favorite series?
Um, I'll have to go back and look at it because there were
Yeah.
quite a few. There was a couple of different suggestions, but I think Ted Lasso was up there. There was something else, but we'll include it in the top 2023
Yeah.
as
Perfect.
outside references. So, yeah, appreciate everybody for kicking it with us. This week, check out the podcast platform. Spread the word about the Instagram at Can We Kick It Pod. Check out our website, kickitmedia.com. And as cousin likes to say,
Woo-wee, sucker!